else is pretty and stuff, so whatever.
We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I think the first item on our agenda will be the Public Safety Center. Did you have something from Kelsey?
Yeah,
That's
but
being printed?
it's being printed.
I'll let Kevin kind of start going over some things. I got your email on some of the issues.
Okay. If you read that, just for my own comfort level, I want to start any communications I have with John. I want everybody in the loop. I want everybody on its string. That's why I requested that. We had a leak from, Rick Caldwell sent this email. I don't know if you guys got this or not. The bottom part there. Okay, you got that? Okay. So that's kind of where all this started. It's kind of a continuation of issues. Though the first thing that bothered me about this was, John, I'll call Kevin to determine where the leak is coming from. Well, I don't know where the water's coming from.
Did we ever get the conduit, the waterproof conduit connectors on top fixed? Did they ever come to work?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, when we were on the roof a long time ago.
Okay, separate issue. Okay.
There was the connectors, the compression connectors that had a rubber seal.
What they did, and I'm not gonna. What they came back with a caulk gun and put a little spritz caulk on top of each thing. Now, did that take care of it? I don't know.
And they didn't change
the bushing in there, that seal, whatever you want to call it, that's still there and it's still hanging.
I suppose they can't without unwiring it and putting it back together.
That would be my guess. I think that's what Tim from Mechanical Air told us it would be, through the wire and then a redo.
Okay.
At any rate, the water that Rick was talking about, it's from the vent area again.
What kind of
I believe they're the smoke ejectors. It's the same issue we've had before. And supposedly it was insulated, and supposedly the problem was taken care of.
That's condensation type?
I'm hesitant to say yes, it's that, because then John seems to take me literally, and I'm not going to diagnose the problems out there because I don't know. I did talk to a roofer, I think that was in the email too, that he said in his best guess that the insulation in the curbing has probably got some air gaps in it. He said, until you get that sealed, and he shook his head, we're going to have problems. But he said without tearing into one looking. That was his best guess. We've got a number of issues like the valves still haven't been replaced. They were supposed to be done in December, and I think 1 month before that. I am concerned with we're pushing 2 years. We're fighting a lot of the same problems we've been fighting the whole time. It's your guys' responsibility. What do you want to do with it? I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of taking that monkey and handing it to you and saying, here, what do you want to do with it?
Well, Kelsey is recommending, did you get a note from Kelsey or?
I have not seen
it.
it.
Here's what she said to Carl. I did get a chance to review the contract you provided me regarding PSC. It only made me realize there are certainly must be more contracts out there, particularly with actual contractors. Maybe I should review your extensive files on this matter and to see if I can find what I'm looking for. In the meantime, to keep things moving, my recommendation is for me to send yet another letter outlining what has not been completely satisfactorily and stating rather generically that we will consider all options available to us, and if the deficiencies are not satisfied immediately, And then we need to actually follow through with that. I need to review the other contracts to determine what options we might have. Kelsey. So the difference being we may have to actually follow through with action against them if they don't get it fixed.
Yeah,
That's our only real recourse other than to be nice and ask them, and they haven't gotten it done so far, so then the next step is legal action, unfortunately.
what I am trying to do is, so in 6 months or 8 months or whenever that time frame ends, you guys say, well, Kevin, you didn't say anything about this, you didn't say anything about that.
I suppose one of the problems is they have performance bond of some sort, guaranteeing their work. Do we have any access to that performance bond to make a claim?
I have no idea on that, Terry.
You signed off on that a long time ago.
But we had also, at the same time,
We did
had
continual
identified
issues.
things that weren't done.
A lot of these deficiencies were noted prior to the 1 year
Oh, yeah.
deal, you know, and the problem is they not only don't fix them, but they don't follow up on anything. They don't, you know, you send them something and there's no reply, there's no anything, you know.
And part of the problem, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I think at one point John said that you okayed them putting in those ball valves instead of the electric. Well, what you actually said was, yeah, ball valves are fine, but then we would like a refund for the difference.
Exactly.
And that, well, that last part kind of got forgotten.
And that changes tune in a hurry, you know, and the other thing we said, if you put the ball valves in, then we need to have access. Everything has to be accessible to the door, and you guys were out there, I believe you were out there when we talked about that stuff. So, I talked to Sheriff Davis down in Davis County, and he said his electronic system works wonderful. But he said the exercise,
Right?
well, that's the whole thing. I don't know, you know, but if you talk to Linehan, they wired it right. They're according to, you know, the blueprint specs, but
I'd be curious to know how was our spec versus theirs.
Yeah.
Was it DC or AC and so forth? I know that was some of the controversy.
Yep.
Should have been one and it wasn't, and so they're not taking the fall on it because it was spec'd wrong.
well, he says that he's got those things ordered and they're on back order. Well, God, it didn't take him that long to order them when the building was, you know, being spec'd out and brand new, you know, but to replace them, all of a sudden they're on back order. That's
So, are they replacing what they should have been, or are they replacing them with new ones like what they are?
it's supposed to be the new ones that are supposed to be the correct ones.
They didn't install an inverter to step it down at one point, which means they knew that they had ordered the wrong ones, and then they needed to step to AC to DC. Because the Linehan guy told them that.
But it's just, the guy just disappeared on us, and there's no touching base with him or anything.
And since it's both electrical and plumbing, that could be the problem too.
Well, we've got that, and then you've got Accurate Controls is gonna have to be involved as far as the solenoids, because it's gotta coordinate with their system.
Right.
So you're gonna have probably 3 contractors involved again. And I guess in a nutshell, that kind of sums it up. Nothing really gets taken care of. I mean, the cracks in the concrete, they got ground out and sealed up. Okay, that's pretty cut and dry. But the water coming in, particularly that hallway where we're at in the 11-month walkthrough, supposedly that's taken care of. Till we go through 12 months and we don't have any water come in the conduit or drip down, then I'll say, yeah, okay. And I guess that's what I'm saying is I'm not going to sign off on too much anything out there till we're 12 to 18 months out. Because talking to Rick Caldwell yesterday, I think he talked to, was it Davis County?
Yep.
And they were done about the same time we were, and things were fat, dumb, and happy. Things are working well. They really don't have any major complaints. Well, that's not unfortunately not what we have happening.
And most of the water leakage only occurs when it's cold, is that it? So it's condensation issue, you think, or?
It's happened all year round.
We've had leaks all summer.
It's happened with heavy rain, it's happened with light rain. I mean, this exceptionally cold weather, yeah, that didn't help anything, but
But it did happen all summer.
He's trying to get
Yeah,
us,
all right.
he's trying to get us to diagnose the problem. He needs to get his own guys to diagnose the problem. 'Cause so it's getting lost in that abyss up here.
And that's what I think I alluded to before in this email. I'll call Kevin to determine where the leak is coming from. No.
Well, the only way he could possibly do that is through conversation with you and trying to diagnose it over the phone or meet with you to see.
They've been here. The guys who do the roofing, the guys who did the install were here and saw it, and it's still happening. So I don't know what I can add to that. I don't have their experience and background. Like I say, the most feasible thing I have found is the roofer I talked to had said his best guess was that they didn't insulate the curbing correctly. Well, I'm gonna guess nobody wants to go down that road because
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what that would involve. I'm gonna stop there if that's what it is at all. And I'm not saying it is, but he said that's a possibility. He has seen it in his experience, and this guy had been doing it a while. He had seen it.
But that wouldn't stop, that would be for the winter, not insulated.
That would be for the winter, yeah. This last week, that water that ruined, well, probably ruined the TV and female Max. Yeah, everything's froze up on top, so you would assume it was probably a condensation issue. But why, if it was insulated after they were here, supposedly it's done. I looked at the letter as far as it came in here. I forget who it was from. Well, I've been insulated and it was taken care of. Well, nope.
Maybe the insulating was taken care of, but the problem's not
But the
there.
problem-
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, thank you, correct. And I just wanted to make you guys aware so everybody's on the same page and we're all at the same spot. And, you know, John called 3 different people. Well, this week has been interesting, trying to locate me. Well, I just didn't have time. And I did email him first thing yesterday and to let him know, okay, this is where it's coming in at, this is what's going on. And that's why I want to start communicating. It'll just be easier for me and for everybody. And we all get the
The leak,
same.
in a sense, is your problem, but you find it, it's not, that's their problem, they should come and find it.
Yeah, correct, absolutely.
I mean, they're the ones that, have a reputation as far as,
Well, and this isn't a new issue, it's,
Yeah, I mean, it's, I guess until we start making a lot of noise, they aren't gonna do anything when it's out, so. Your noise isn't enough, isn't it?
well, I was gonna say that I can only stand there and bark so long. Well, at some point, I'm apparently quiet now, so I'm kinda handing off to you guys and saying, what do you wanna do?
I am surprised that.
Yeah. Mine's just got a lot of dotted lines on it, double dotted lines.
Oh, thank you. Discuss with possible action the problems at the Public Safety Center.
That's what I wanted to know. So my guess is probably rely on Kelsey to send a letter to John, probably. Lenahan, Jim and Dudes, possibly for the valves.
Jim and Dudes for the valves.
Lenahan for the valves, because they're gonna have to be wired, I suppose, and
Well, they're gonna have to be wired, and then, like you say, coordinate with Accurate Control, so I don't know if you wanna go all the above, or
all the involved contractors.
I would think it would be all of them.
Well, yeah, Cresco Builders in general, wouldn't you include
Well,
them?
see, there were separate contracts for electrical, mechanical, plumbing, so you can't go on Cresco Builders for some of it, maybe the leak in the roof, but not the plumbing type of thing. So we're gonna have to cover a basis for each contract.
Here's a question for you.
Is this building still under warranty by any chance?
Well, then we're past the warranty, but before it was past the warranty, we identified problems they haven't fixed.
Yeah.
So it's a documented problem.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be the route to go, wouldn't it? Let Kelsey notify
That's the
all parties.
first step, and then after that, follow through. If we don't get,
Do we want to put a timeline on this?
yeah, I was gonna say, give them a few weeks to
30-day notice?
get on it, or we're gonna have to start
We will take action.
the next step, I guess. Because, having stuff slowly get ruined over time is, I mean, it'd be nice to have it immediately.
Well, it's gonna show up in our jail inspection too. That not all the facilities are usable, and need code. So it's gonna reflect on us too.
Yep.
So probably the important part of this is to instruct the county attorney to start or send a letter to John Hanson with his company,
And all involved contractors.
all involved contractors with the issues on the leaks, the valves that haven't been replaced, along with the electrical part of that.
Correct.
And what other,
Hacker controls will be involved in that.
right?
The door closing issues in the jail, I think I gave that to Kelsey the other day. She has a list from the other day when we were out there.
Good. All right, so we have a punch list of items that will be on there.
Okay.
And, I guess I'll make that a motion, as stated previously, you know the way we got it. Kelsey,
Hopefully she's got it on.
yeah.
Summary, correct.
I have most of it.
All right.
But there is a punch list, and the punch list will reflect on the contractors involved, and my motion said 30 days to rectify it, but we will take action. Whether she says we can do that or not, I don't know, that's what we'd like to do. So,
I have 7 files that are this big that we need to go through.
on a motion from there being a second from Jens Hold, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we're down to budget discussions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bud.
Thank you, sir.
So, Dean's here, we'll probably talk to him a little bit about the VA budget.
Just make a copy for you. I know, Denny's got a copy already, but
So it's on page 46 or something. 45, 46.
Well, you get yourself familiarized over there, are you, or
Just get my big toe wet just a little bit.
and dipping it in well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I spent the morning down at Clarion, Biscuit Gallo, up in office for some training, and I've been in contact with Danny. He's been real good help. Thank you. It's a full, good work. Thank Thank you.
It's not a very nice copy, but
I was gonna say, you can buy a black paper.
So for me, a bit of a learning experience. I was retired Air Force, active duty back in the mid-70s, and then with the back for farm economy back in the 80s, I had to do something to generate other income, so I joined up with the Reserves of Minneapolis, which turned out to be a very good deal. It's had a great bunch of guys and gals that we go out to other host bases and help get caught up on the work orders for the civil engineering squadron. So it's some of the stuff I've dealt with them and with craft too, with the different reports I got to work with, and it should be not too bad of a transition just with the learning curve. Hopefully I can stick around and help some guys and gals.
Okay. So one of the big changes in your budget was in the salaries because we changed how you guys have changed how you're doing business. Before it was one part-time person working 26 hours a week. Now there's kind of overlapping positions,
Yeah.
right? Is that right, Dave? So, the request was higher than we actually funded. It was at 26,235 last year. This year, I think we've got down 35,360 for the extra incurred salaries. The one thing I was wondering about was veteran.
I was just looking at that myself.
It was higher before, but then it was 9,000 back up.
2017 and then 0 after that.
if you drive somebody
Right.
to an appointment, that's the,
But it hasn't been utilized for a couple of years. Okay. Well, hopefully with some of the new changes they might be implementing, we can get our services locally. We don't have to incur those costs as much. But money's gotta be there in case it does. And we raised the mileage and subsistence. Double that. So your overall budget was up substantially. At the request of the board, I guess. Do you have any feedback on that? What they were thinking when they set that? Or?
No, excuse me, I think we've always run pretty good as far as our budget goes.
Yeah.
And, I don't think there was a lot of changes in there, but
Salary, a lot of salary.
other than the salary.
Doubling the mileage and subsistence and the per diem.
Well, miscellaneous went down from 900 to 0.
Yeah.
I always like miscellaneous.
And I'm visiting with Christina down in Wright County. She mentioned that it'd be a good idea for both Dennis and I would go down to Des Moines. I think that's in April for some training at the state level. And also there's some training out in Cleveland for this vet spec. I forget what exactly the name is for. That's where we get our certifications to continue with the job, make sure we're trained and know all the ins and outs of the program. So I'm sure that might
That's
throw.
probably why the mileage and subsistence double.
Oh,
So
okay.
two of you can go.
You're right.
Okay. Yeah, we want both of you to be up to speed on it.
Right, yep.
Serve the veterans as needed.
There's one question I still got to notice. The total office hours is about 12 or so for the week. And was talking to Chris. I think according to Iowa code, every county in the state of Iowa has to have their own VA office. But she mentioned too that they're supposed to have 20 hours per week open for the vets to come in. And so right now we're about 8 hours short roughly. So I think when Dennis comes back and maybe try to convene with the board that oversees our their group that maybe kind of hash that out, see what we need to do to make sure we're in compliance. And I asked her if there's any boards in the state of Iowa that have been closed because of different issues, but she said not. And I guess I hate to be.
Well, wasn't it in the past that they went out and saw the vets the other hours?
I think on Fridays, Thomas used, his hours on Fridays for outreach. Like he'd go to the nursing homes and go to, I don't know, meet with people at their homes.
Shut in people and things like
Yeah.
that.
So somewhere there's probably a list of those people,
Okay,
so that would be part of the other hours.
great.
And I suppose, are they on call also somewhat, or?
They're not so much on call. Once things get back to running smoothly, and the hours are posted and everything, people will come in and they'll see that, and they'll make the appointments for the hours that they're there. Or if they make, if they can't make our office hours, they can make an appointment with whoever and set something up, but yeah.
By appointment.
Yep.
Do you know yet what hours you'll be there?
I'm assuming right now, just go by the post hours and then kind of go from there after we get more acclimated to what all we need to do and know and stuff. So it's kind of a big learning curve for both of us. So just kind of wait till Dennis gets back and then kind of then we meet with the board to kind of see what we can do to best meet those criteria that the state sets out there. So I just want to make sure we're staying above board and that we're not providing the service that we're supposed to be doing. So.
I think they've scheduled a board meeting for February 20th
Oh, okay.
at 10,
Oh, okay.
so.
I can call Dennis too and have him on my cell phone and be there. Read the cell phone and. So.
Well, good luck in your position then.
Okay, thanks. I'll need it for a bit here, so hopefully my capacity experience will help make the job a little easier, but still it's a matter of getting to know everybody, help people pass with their own personal deals, but being different on this different side of desk, it's kind of throws it a monkey wrench into things, so it's going to be a learning curve, but I appreciate the support I've gotten so far from everybody.
Welcome to government bureaucracy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I was with the reserves like for 17 years, and I eventually got in and took over the supply section of my active duty service with working security and handling small arms. Fit real well because when we deploy someplace, we have sensitive items. So eventually took over the supply section, kind of spent a lot of time with in that section. But make sure that all of our guys and gals were fitted with serviceable chemical warfare ensembles and not knowing what they'd be going into in Iraq and in the desert, if you will. You had to work with other people, make sure with the base supply folks and within our own squadron, you got to touch bases and make those connections and ask for support when you do need them. So I think those skills will hopefully transfer to this job. So if I make a mistake, please don't be afraid to come and slap me upside the head, and you can't be doing that. So.
Don't worry, they're not.
I'm sure we'll get along.
You can't be too serious. You got to enjoy what you do, and hopefully that'll translate to the customers too. Hopefully they're satisfied with their service and so. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so what else are we going to discuss today? Any changes in the levy? Is there other
You got
changes?
something, or you guys?
I just didn't know if you realized that we left it the same.
I did.
After I sat and looked at it, because these two are added already down here again, they were added twice, that's why.
What?
Let me show you.
Right, because the other comes out of, general supplemental. Yes. Okay. That's why I left it.
Yep, that's why I was gonna ask you, that's why.
Okay.
That was my, and when I called yesterday, you had already gone. So, and I didn't get over here this
I
morning,
didn't my daughter know that.
so that's why I didn't, and I couldn't get over here this morning, but that's why I thought that's what you had done.
Mhm.
Okay, so then we are on the same page.
Yep.
Because that's what I have, my little notes over here.
Okay. Judy, I have not sent out the thing yet. I will send it out today. It's been a weird week,
Okay.
and I don't know if that's what you're here for, but
Yeah, well, I don't know, Julie had to work with her mom this morning, but, she just had a proposal, kind of, but not, just a 5-year projection,
Okay.
that she wanted me to kind of turn in and,
No, gonna have to be here sometime, so.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
All right,
you copy for me?
That was you when I looked up.
Can you copy for me?
It was good in the back of my head. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
face down.
No, put it on the inside. Here, let me just do it.
File scanner.
Thanks,
Get out of the way, Bill.
No, just, I got alert.
Okay,
Now you push okay?
no,
No.
the big silver line. Yep, yep, there you go. I'm so proud of you.
This is almost a hug of a moment. But in the current climate of affairs. we
Yeah, you don't dare.
skip that.
Does she not care? I have the same brand predator. Mine's totally different from that.
Yeah, I know I use mine at home. Separate needs a new toner thing. Toner thing costs more than a copy.
You do.
So, like I said last week, it does show savings, maybe not in the first year, but it shows it.
But there won't be any savings.
Well, I think she's only comes back part-time, you know, not those days here and there. That's what it's gonna be a part-time, full-time thing. That would be my assumption, otherwise I,
Or it's more of a, if somebody's out or something.
yeah, I mean, that's something, a week here, a week there.
Well, but did you guys notice any savings when you had those retirements last year? Or everything's so discombobulated?
Everything's so discombobulated.
Because you're switching part-time to full-time. and-
Yeah. Because we switched, and then, well, we never did really replace Karen as a nurse. And her salary was higher than what we hired Alyssa. So, and their insurance was different. Karen just had single where Alyssa took away a child, so, you know, it's, depends what person you hire.
Yeah.
And what they're gonna, what they're gonna take.
Yeah, that's something else that should be taken into account here, if they don't have any of their insurance.
Correct.
But-
Or does she have anything in fiscal year 19 over that?
She doesn't have anything about insurance. The only thing she has for insurance is Judy's current policy on the first year.
So the cumulative savings would be less if they hire somebody with a family policy. Would be the negative.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any savings.
Well, there would be
Your first year.
some in your 23 and 24, probably. Yeah, I don't know.
No, the savings per year was, a little over 7.
Yeah.
You only pay that early retirement the first year though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if Judy's taking single, so if you take
Right.
someone, hire somebody with a family.
And that's what we, that's what we did.
10,000 a year
Right.
more for,
Yeah,
And that's what we did. So there was no, but there will be next year, because then I'm not paying my two that are early retired.
mhm.
Correct? Yeah.
Well,
Correct.
but you'd still have Alyssa, the family for it.
Right. And then if I have one that can early retire, if she qualifies, she could do early retirement.
the first year until I'm paying her insurance, we actually lose 1,500, and after that, we start to see the savings.
Right.
Unless, of course, we get family
I think the only savings I see on my end would be the wage-wise.
Well, that's just what Mike said, you don't really save any money unless you don't replace people.
Well, I mean, if we replace them with another single insurance. You really save it if you don't replace them. So then you're talking 50, 60,000 a year because of the salary. The whole package, I guess.
Just a spouse and child policy would eat up all of the savings, about 75-12 right now. Spouse and child, you don't know.
But I think on one of mine is less than what we're paying.
And that's different with the other one, because we're not paying insurance, we're paying Medicare.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I'm saying, we're
so
saving.
you are saving with that one.
We're saving with that one. I just had to do my math. We're saving with that one.
Mhm. Yep. That's a different, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different.
That's a little bit different.
When somebody gets to a certain age and still working for the county, they have the option to go to Medicare, or they have to go to Medicare.
You have the option. And I think that's something that we should look at the policy book too.
But
because-
if you're working and you're Medicare age and you apply for Medicare and you're still working, your secondary insurance is your primary and Medicare is your secondary.
Yeah, Medicare makes the private insurance pay first.
Right, right. So let's say, Terry, you're old enough to retire, but you still want to do this and you have insurance through here. But you go get Medicare, that will be your secondary insurance, and so Health Partners right now would
If I
be,
choose it that way.
if you choose it that way. If you decide not to work at all, then Medicare is your primary, and then you'd have to find a supplement.
Or if I decided to try and save the county money and I went on Medicare plus supplemental, the county paid for this. Oh, didn't know it really did?
What, Des Moines did.
Yeah.
You went on Medicare,
And we paid the supplemental.
we paid the
I
supplemental.
think Willie might have done that too.
That's what I was remembering.
We didn't pay it in a sense, we gave him money so he could pay it.
We reimbursed
You
him for his
reimbursement, yes.
his supplement. It was less for us, sure.
I think we need to look at that in the policy book, making that,
Well, that's, would be a good way to save a lot of money on one end of the tax. We'll pay for it on the other taxes.
Mhm.
I guess it's a question for Mike Galloway, whether others are doing it.
Can,
Can,
and can you, yeah.
And I guess if I was put in a situation, I would do it just because it would be a savings to, even if I was working for some other employer, why make them pay for it?
I think there's a stipulation there though, because I have people that come in and they're still working, but they have Medicare Blue Cross or whatever, and they do like a flu shot or something. I have to bill Blue Cross because Medicare will not pay.
but it's in our
And they know.
policy that we don't offer.
Once you turn 65, we don't offer it to you. You have to take Medicare with that supplemental.
Right.
Then,
Yeah, if you have it in your policy, right?
Yeah.
Because it would say.
But is 65 the age now?
No, it's.
for Medicare, I think so.
65%.
Yeah, is it 65 now, or are they thinking of changing that?
Some just went up to 67.
Uh-huh, I think so. I think I read that somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Whether it was that or just the retirement. It's,
Yeah. I think I just read that somewhere too.
because we're all living
Mm-hmm. And that's the baby boomers.
That's what they say. Really try to say.
They're just kicking the can down. Yeah. They're gonna pay it one way or another sometime.
Well, they're,
A couple of years. The increasing economy's gonna catch up to it, I'm sure. I'm sure.
sure.
Heck, it'll be 90 by the time I get there.
So I figured by the time I get there, it'd be insolvent.
Okay, so, let's go back to our levy that's changed.
So I really didn't do too terrible much with, I don't know,
I'm looking at the levy, it went to 428,894, right, for the general basic,
you know,
from 4,1.
from 19, yeah. So if you go to page, the one that says at the top, surface area is 0,
Yeah, it's like one page back, up here.
the very end though,
Second to last page, is actually, yeah, second to last printed page.
it says surface area 0. So these are the ending fund balances. And the general fund balance, if we leave everything the way it is at 11.5. We're supposed to shoot for 25%. If we leave general supplemental the way it is, it's 17.5. Rural basic is 17.4. And rural services supplemental is 31.9.
Okay, let's go through those, I didn't write them down. So,
Okay, general basic is 11.5.
percent.
Yes. Percent of expenditures. General supplemental is 17.5. Rural basic is 17.4. And rural services supplemental is 31.9.
It was 31.9, you said?
Yeah. So,
Still, most of it's still on the low side.
mhm. So, I guess we need to balance where these ending balances are versus what you want taxes to look like.
Feel like,
What's that?
you mean feel like,
Well, that too.
that's what they, see, that's what they're gonna feel like next year.
So right now, I have the levy for the total general at 7.98487. That's that middle number on your tax sheet,
Okay,
this one.
okay, so that is this one. This page?
No, it's like 3 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 in.
Okay, this one.
Yep. So your total general supplemental is 4,826,500, and in 19 it was 4,828,141. So if we leave it the way it is, we still are just basically the same with our taxes.
But we're low on fund balance.
Right. Although we're up from fund balance from last year. And then rural supplemental, the total rural is 6,665,396. And last year, the rural was 6,856,599.
So we lowered that by a couple $100,000,
Yes.
a little under 200,000.
And what I can do is take some of the money from rural services, because our ending fund balance is like 31% of that one,
Yeah.
and take and move some of that up to rural services, which would help the ending balances
So
on
maybe, wait a minute. Rural services.
Rural services to where?
rural services supplemental.
Okay,
See that, where that 0.31131? I could take some of that levy and put it on the 4.3.
okay, so the actual levy would be less on supplemental and higher on basic?
Yes.
Okay. Subtract plus. Would end up with the same. end
Same
result,
bottom number on
4,611,31.
Mhm. Where we're having the problem though is the general, because
Right.
I don't know what you want to do there.
And you can't transfer from rural to general.
Nope.
There are only certain things you can pay for out of rural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in like the sheriff's budget and that. We're limited there, could we not pay for something in the sheriff's department out of general and put it into rural? Are we maxed there?
I mean, we could always move another.
How about in her,
There's nothing you can do with her.
okay, not personally, but in her budget.
Both, on
I was
both
gonna
counts.
say, I was gonna say, that fit either way.
Nothing we
so
can do there.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, but the sheriff's budget, can we,
We can move one of the deputies from general basic to rural basic. I mean, we've already got one deputy in there. And the last time we tried to move more than one deputy over there, we had our budget
challenge,
challenged. So that's a lot of people.
but we lowered rural.
But if we have to move, we'll raise it up.
Just use the people.
Oh, I suppose, well,
Rural end of it, they're gonna have to pay for when they weren't
I'm
paid
just
for
wondering.
before, so.
do we? Because if we end up in the excess in that, let's see, how much excess was it in that one?
Well, it's not gonna be a whole lot of money.
It's a small item, so there's not a lot to draw from. So, supplemental,
Handy dandy little calculator out here.
so if we go down 6%, 10% would be 30,000. That doesn't cover a deputy. Can you split a deputy?
Yeah. So we've got 220 here.
There's only, how many deputies come out of the rural?
We've only got $17,000 worth of wiggle room. And your real basic still isn't at 25%, even if you,
Even if you make that transfer.
you know, because it'll only,
More hassle than it's worth.
it's gonna bring the rural services ending fund balance to 230? And then if you take another deputy out of there, or half a deputy even, that'll negate all that.
That helps on the general basic side.
So if you took, I mean,
But it's gonna be a small percentage, it's gonna help.
let's say you take a deputy out there, it's, you know, even a half a deputy is 25,000 for a half a deputy.
Benefits or
That's just the salary.
Yeah.
And you're just basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. You
Where,
know,
where are the benefits coming from?
benefits are coming from general supplemental and rural supplemental, depending on,
Can you transfer just one of the benefits or?
you gotta,
Does the ITC lines, do they have the same graduating start as the turbines?
There's a way, they haven't even got it going. The first they would be assessed would be next December, then the following year, they would probably pay taxes.
Do they-
So
do they
it's
start-
2 years out,
Yeah,
yeah.
they start with the 0, 5.
I don't think so.
I didn't know they had the same thing as the,
I mean, she does not assess them, they're through the utilities.
and that would be on the rural, right? Or where does that get taxed?
Utilities come in.
well, if you look at the tax sheet,
Which,
that fourth page, you can see, like P is the taxes with utilities, and S is, and T is the taxes without utilities. So depending on like where the tax, or where the thing is, so if it's in rural, it would be in the rural basic. Rural basic and rural supplemental.
so it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't break it down, it's just that at the heading, they show it without.
Mhm.
Q. So
Q
these are
is-
valuations, yeah, there's two different valuations. Right now, in rural, there's only 3 million difference. Basic, there's only 5 million difference. 4.5 million. But that should grow in one of those categories in a couple of years. We just can't, right, budget for it yet.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is,
I think,
that,
I think
once
it's
that
all
starts to
helps.
come online, that'll help us with our fund balances as far as, you know, we can live through it this year again. It's just taxes.
I just know that everything's a year behind as far as actually paying taxes on some of these bills. Because what they say, she assesses it 1 year. The second year, you see it in your stuff, and the third year, she sees it in revenue. So that's how long it takes to try to see it in revenue. So we can budget for the second, right? But we're budgeting here,
Well, it'll
because
show
we're
up,
budgeting a year ahead.
it'll show up in valuations when we can budget for it.
So, but it's not here yet.
No.
Because they have a great one. Probably next year. I don't know. That's when we start looking at it. They'll be online this year, this summer, I think. I would think it'd be. Regardless, we can't do it this year. Got a lot of projects in the queue, just not on paying yet.
So last year, our ending fund balance for general basic was 195,000. So, I mean, no matter what, we're doing better this year than what we were last year.
Yeah. So it's not going the wrong way, it's going the right way.
Yeah. Now, we're going the wrong way in rural basic, because last year their ending fund balance was 367,000, and this year it got 216,000. So,
That will not bother the farmers at all.
well, the other problem with that is if you let the secondary roads do a budget amendment, that's gonna be even lower.
Back to, quickly again.
Well, that rural basic fund, if it just,
So when you say an amendment, the reason I'd want to do an amendment with them is if they have in and out.
they just want to send their fund balance down.
Well, some of it they're spending fund balance now, like paying ahead for rock. Or aggregate, whatever you call it.
They're still spending it.
But they're spending it down, but that won't be in next year's budget, but that was
They
some stuff
still-
in next year's budget to spend on other things.
They still got their full budget in next year, so it's,
Maybe we shouldn't allow them to do that either. Just pay for it next year when we're supposed to.
they just.
Well, we're not gonna get in trouble with 31.9% fund balance in rural services. Something.
Well, like I said, that's why I thought maybe we could move that 17,000 over to rural services, and,
As long as the others don't take it.
well, that's your guys' call.
Yeah. So you just change the levy in each of those to reflect about a $17,000 transfer or change.
In the levy.
Look at that. So that'd be
on yet?
I'm just learning. 'Cause I never got to sit in on any of this, so I'm just trying to figure it out where everything comes from. And that kind of helps me a little. So, because I didn't know there was that many pots. You know what I mean?
Government sure has made it so complicated.
To me, it would be just one big pot. Be easier. Like that Common Core math. Why do that? 2 + 2 is 4 no matter what.
That's
I'm sure somebody made a lot of money when they came in the building. So,
what are you trying to say there?
so we're looking at 233, 727 fund balance afterwards.
Basic.
That's a budget of 21. Hate this calculator. So that bottom line won't change, the total requirements isn't gonna change, is it? If we transfer the 17,000?
No,
Okay.
she's gonna change any fund balance.
The 17,000 is from what?
If we knew
From the
levy
supplemental,
from rural supplemental to.
Oh, you're just switching.
through the levy changes.
And if you did 20% on rural supplemental and took it, you could do about 50,000. Like I said, you just kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's
Yeah, I don't
just to
think
make
I
the
wanna
numbers
change
look
that.
good.
This is just a number shuffle, bottom line is, in the big pot, it's still the same.
But we can use, there's more things we can do at real basic than there's real supplemental. But still, we still have the same problem with the general basic being at 11%. And
What did you say that rural basic percentage balance would have been? I'm not getting that number.
what number?
It's under 10%, ending fund balance on. rural
You have
basic.
to add the transfers.
Oh, add the transfers?
Yeah,
That's
So
what I
it's
wasn't
that
getting at, all right.
731 time, or plus the 1,241,000.
That's why it wasn't coming up. All right, so 731, 801. Like a check. That brings it up to 44%.
Mm,
There's no way that was 44%. I'm not talking. 10.
What was general basics percentage last year?
So what, oh, wait a minute, I probably added the wrong number. What was the,
We need to add the 731,801 plus,
really? Expenditures?
yep, plus the 2 million, or $1,241,078. You need to add those.
Okay, what was the second number? The 1,241,000?
241,
Okay,
078.
all right. Got those. Seven, two, seven, nine, and then my new number of two. So where do you get your percentage at when you divide your ending fund balance into 19728?
That's 10%. Is that what you're getting?
I'm getting all kinds of different numbers. I've got, the last one I got was 11.8, but if I divided 233,727 into the 190 or 1.972879, I got 11.8.
What was the first number you gave me?
233,727. That's when I added 17,000 to the fund balance.
$11.7. That's what you said.
11.8.
Yeah. That's what I get to.
So then your 17.4 was not a good,
I
right?
must have made a mistake in my calculations.
So just so I understand here, you got expenditures and you've got transfers out that you're using for your numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also like an expenditure.
Yep, the transfers and expenditure.
Kind of like your total obligation. So if you change that 17,000, where else does it show up?
It'll take it out of the rural supplemental.
Right, but where does it show up in the other column?
Go to the column. The only other place it'll show up is the tax, on that tax sheet.
All right.
So it'll change the revenues too, of course, but.
So from one sheet to another, it goes back to make your fund balance. pretty confident, even by adding that 17,000, we're still at only 11,700, 11,800.
Mhm. So you, the other option is to take that 4.3 levy up and we've still got about $200,000 worth of wiggle room before we hit where we were last year. Which I hate to do that, but
Okay, so that was your time.
4.4.
on that tax sheet,
We could do general basic, go up to,
general basic, I will do unless
okay, so then rural services, basic,
rural services, you could take that 4.3 up. If you wanted, there's still, like I said,
Last year.
what's that?
Last year was 4.47721.
the amount of money though was, last year was 6,800,000, this
The
year,
valuation has gone up, so
this year, 606,000, 6,600,000.
so to get to the same numbers, we can use a lesser tax rate than we had last year.
But at that point, what's the impact to the taxpayers going to be?
Well, like I said, it was 6.8 million last year, at 6.6
That's
million
if
this
it
year.
was actual, that's probably just that flat valuation that went up there.
No, that's the levy, that's the actual,
I know, but I'm just talking about the increase in valuation. Was it in land valuation that went up, or was it in other things that were built?
I have no idea.
Could have been additional outbuildings.
That's a question for Sue. The
Outbuildings,
valuations,
They get just taxed at the land valuation, don't they? Those are rural.
Well, Sue was explaining to me they're in the whole mix, but they're not specifically the part of it. It is an evaluation that they pay taxes on. That the farmers have to pay less because it's all.
if you look at that tax sheet for 19 that I gave you, you can compare. It's a
last
separate
year's.
sheet.
Yeah. I
That's
think it was
18,
18 and 19.
so you can compare valuations and you can compare levies and you can compare the amount of taxes for those.
So we'd be going down for the third year in a row as far as the levy goes. But the actual tax dollars are gonna. These valuations are.
So how much, you said if we went to what?
I don't even know what would go up to, but if you wanted to raise the taxes on the roll, you could do that, otherwise, I mean,
Raise it from the 4.3 that you proposed. Which would still
I
be
mean, if you
less.
want a different ending balance, that's
Yeah.
what you guys need to decide, what you want your
Yeah.
ending balances to be at.
We could raise it up to a number that would still be lower than that number of last year, but the total tax dollars should be the same or higher. Higher.
I really don't want to raise the taxes.
Who pays rural basic, who pays rural supplemental? Is one, if you're just an acreage, and one is if you're farming?
No. So, anybody in the country pays both. Actually, anybody in the country pays all these levy rates
Okay,
in that middle. So their total would be 12.59618.
so they don't see whether it comes out of one or the other, it's just justification for us, so.
Mm-hmm.
Which the total last year was 13.5 million. So the levy in a sense goes down. It's the dollars that matter though, because their income is only so much, doesn't matter if their property values went up, their income is still the same.
So if we were to, how much do you think we need to do what we have to do with our carryover balance? We want, our target would be,
Well, our target's 25%, but we're never gonna get there.
what is 25%?
So it'd be 25% of that 919.
Okay, so, point 225 times 1 times 7.9. 493, 219.
Yep.
And we're at,
216.
yeah. So that's quite a bit more. So it's about $10,000 for every 5%. So if we went 20%, see, right now we would have to raise it 260. 70 some thousand.
Do you want me to go in my office and just print what some different levies would look like?
Well, I'm just trying to back figure here to see how we come out with what we would have to raise for revenue if we were going for 20% on this one. And if we were going for 20%, trying to get a median in there somewhere, we would be at, no, it's 98,000. So it'd be about 395, so 216. So we have to raise it 197,000 to get to 20%.
Under what basic you're on yet?
Yeah. And I suppose we can also transfer some of the percentage over to from the supplemental if we want. We wouldn't have such a big ending fund balance in supplemental. valuations that we look at are the 1,726,000, is that correct?
Basic valuations are the 398, 779, 461, or with utilities, it's 401,
Real basic.
Yeah.
What's this number? This is-
That's the taxes.
Okay.
This is the value.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that number right there is what I
Yes.
use for. So if we went 4.4, we'd end up with 1,766,706. And reflects on the page. So I would take that number and subtract 197, correct? That's not.
Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, maybe you should.
Okay.
4.4.
So you want me to try 4.4 and then take like that 17,000 off the rural supplemental?
Right.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out, at 401 million,
Let me go run you some numbers. I'll be right back.
piece of parts that I look at 2 sheets at once.
It's gonna staple and move around here somewhere.
More fun. There you go.
When Aaron gets the stuff for Tuesday and next Wednesday, you guys just want me to email it to you so before the meeting on Tuesday? Because she's working on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Bill, do you want it to the county email?
you know, all of us, I guess.
Yeah, Mike too.
For every 1/10 that we're going up, 4.3 to 4.4, it makes 1,000 difference. Again,
That's it.
that's
more
target
market.
use. Say 20%.
I'm gonna make Carla one too. Alright, I'm out of here.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys. And my staff does appreciate Wednesday. They were very grateful.
Oh,
No, the community.
no, yeah, that.
Did you see the principal from Lake Now?
Yes, I
and
saw
the
that. I saw that.
Music director?
Yeah, they had
Video,
a
video.
skit. Yeah. What was
Oh,
it
yeah.
called? All the Drifts or something like that.
What determined what the tune was? It
It was
was a
an older.
rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Just drifting.
Yeah, Drifting Away. Drifting
Yeah,
Away.
Drift Away was the song.
Yeah.
And they did a good job with it.
Here's the picture they should have, and I sent this to my dad. It's just, didn't you? That was when I was on my way to the meeting the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's, the old Sun Dogs, they go the complete circle all the way up, and blow and drifted icky.
Well, Tuesday we had a nurse get stranded on the Scarville Road and we had to send someone after her. So
All right, she was stuck this year,
her car just died.
or car died.
Just died.
Batteries
It got still towed to her house and they're still trying to figure out, yeah. And then one got stuck on the gravel road.
Car just died.
Yep.
It's not the battery. Well, it might not be cold related.
He thought it was something to do
With what, antifreeze?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, if your antifreeze isn't good enough for that cold, then your car will actually overheat
Yep.
when it's below zero.
It just died and
Just
coasted.
saying, and Terry
Is that what
vouched for
happened to
that.
you?
Wisconsin, it wasn't circulating in the radiator. It was only good to 15 below, and it was like 25 below.
Radiator will freeze up and then the water pump will just cavitate and the water in the engine
But-
just slowly heats up.
Hers didn't overheat it. Hers just died.
Just died, huh?
Coasted, yeah. So they towed it to her house, but then earlier that morning, one of them was out seeing the one we see real early. And she got stuck on the gravel road. And thank goodness her husband hadn't left for work yet when he picked her up.
Yeah.
So I sent out an email and said, do you all have your winter survival kit stuff in your cars?
My Carhartt and the Suburban and
Some did, some didn't.
it's not cold, even if you're in your car, if it quits running, it gets cold in there in a hurry.
Yeah. So they did want me to tell you to thank you again.
Did they figure out what was that?
They did want me to tell you thank you again. They just felt,
Did they find out what happened to that Iowa State student?
Iowa student,
He's in Iowa.
Iowa.
And they're still doing the autopsy.
It was probably due to the cold. His aunt lives here in town.
That one kid down by, that ran away from home because they took his phone away down in Marshalltown,
Yeah.
he tried to climb a communications tower and fell, hit his head.
Was that what happened to him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't sound like alcohol was involved, but a little bit I heard about it.
No, that one from Iowa, his aunt lives here in Fort Worth.
Just,
Sad deal.
yeah, he went. Do you have his jacket and stuff on, or just?
But did you see like all the experiments kids were doing? Within like 10, 15 minutes, jeans would freeze outside or shirts would freeze outside.
Yeah.
Someone had their hair wet and it was within minutes their hair was wet or froze.
If you take a warm glass of water and throw it up in the air high enough, and get the droplet small enough.
Doesn't look like I'll solve all the world
Comes down
problems
to
at times. Yeah, so probably just have to go.
So I just know that I stayed inside.
Yeah, no, it's, I didn't stay inside, but I did go out of town.
Well, Brett had to do chores.
Cows.
Cows have to be fed.
I had to move snow. And,
Yeah, he did that too. All right,
All right,
well, I will
have a good
send
day.
you that email as soon as she sends it to me. She's working on it, so hopefully by the end of today or first part of Monday.
I'd say,
Right.
So she won't be here Tuesday, but she will be here Wednesday.
all right,
All right?
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
oh, okay, yeah, it should be plowed out by now, I would think. All right. Okay. Yeah, well, it might be that if I get done soon enough, I can catch that towel. All right. Bye. My sister brought coffee up to me last minute, and I wanted to go out to the house with her to look at, you guys are gonna sell it, and you gotta realize what issues there are in the basement. If we're gonna sell it, we either have to resolve or not yet.
Yeah. Who's Judy?
lost our spectator.
Yep.
Order data. So this.
Mhm.
Brings us to seven, the other. Or gets us to 13%, is that right?
Thirteen. 13%.
So 1%. Actually only got us 45. One-tenth of a % should be every 40,000. 40,000. Comfortable with 13%?
That's what you guys gotta decide.
Maybe.
Wait a minute. You transferred out of the one a percentage, but you didn't transfer into the other, did you?
Yeah.
You put a 0.1 on it.
Oh, the actual levy rate?
It was 4.4. You told me you wanted 4.4. You want me to go
Right.
higher?
Well, no, I'm just, but we also lowered the other one, so
Yeah.
overall, what did you lower the other one then? What was that? So the other one's at, it's now I have to compare the two sheets.
I went from 0.31 to 0.26 on the rural supplemental.
You had 4.3 and then you went to 4.402224. How come you added the 0224?
Because I don't change the levies, I have to manipulate the amounts. The tax amounts that
So you went for, you were targeting a specific amount.
Terry told me 4.4, so I just did close.
So compared to where we were, the overall rural services levy went down because we subtracted the rural supplemental.
Mhm.
So it went from 467 to 461. So we're comfortable, so what percentage are we on the supplemental that we changed?
That would be,
It's about 25%, I think we figured, when we subtracted the 72,000, that was our target.
$62,045 would be 25%.
Right, so we're right at 25% on that.
Yep.
The other one's up to 13%. We wanna, if we were to go to the, even though it was only, previous one was 6.7, right? And it's not a lot of change. It's only 24,000. So another,
You want me to show you
that'd be
different?
another 1.3% more is all it would do.
So if we did what?
If we just made, remember the levy rate of 467 total?
Okay,
If we made it that, we'd be gaining only 1.3% on that 13%. Roughly. It's not a lot of change. Are we comfortable with 13%? Trying to offer some tax relief. We didn't go,
Go up to 13% on the,
the last one was 13%. The last one she read, 4.4. Last year ends up being 13%, balance at the end.
it's 12.65, isn't it?
No, you have to calculate. Take 257, 780 divided into the
Oh, you're talking, all right, you're talking.
ending fund balance percentage.
You're talking, oh, you're talking.
Is 13% at 257, 780. Are you comfortable with that? Better than last year, right?
no, it was better. The general is better this year than last year. The rural basic is less than what it was last year.
What's this, we've been spending the fund balance down, we eliminate that, what does that take us to?
Well, that's in secondary road, except for that,
Well, some of that comes out of the rural, isn't it?
well, that 400,000 that, we cut down to 2, and then they had to bring it back up to 4. That would have made an impact, but,
If we go,
yeah,
Probably only, we could,
I would cut some.
you cut 50,000.
onto the
Which-
2, but they had some on the aggregate side of it too. Total that was,
They had so they started with 4,
What I remember was the cutting to 50, like,
well, they had 200 for new equipment, and we cut 50 out of that down to 150.
and they had to use some of their engines that make up the difference, or take away some of the gravel, or whatever.
Whatever machinery they were gonna buy.
However they were gonna do it.
Well, it sounded like to me they were gonna take it out of the gravel.
And they were gonna take out projects.
they were at 450, and we cut 50 to make it 400,000.
All right,
450 total, the other 2 was for the aggregate and stuff.
No, they were at 450 total just spending out of rural basic. We cut it down to 400,000 just spending out of rural basic. And then their transfer amount stayed at,
So the difference is being made up in how the carryover looks.
their transfer amount. Sorry, it's right here. Is $1,206,078 is what we transferred to them out of rural basic into secondary road fund.
That was always the number before.
Well, that goes up with valuations too. That number is a certain percentage of whatever the values are for that year.
Well, I don't want to raise the taxes on it, for sure. And they eliminate the problem by cutting their spend down to their fund balance.
Well, let's see, we were at 2,028,000 and here we're at, yeah, we're down a little under 200,000. Taxes generated, levy rates lower,
Levy rate's lower, but
and revenue generated is lower. So we have cut. That's at the overall side. We're slightly up in rural basic by 25,000 or 30,000. Down in supplemental by 200,000. That's where most of the cut was. So I guess that's about as close to, I just don't want to have to tax more to get too much. It's not too much, but it's just, maybe we can build it up next year if we get more valuation. It's kicking the can down the road, but
well, yeah, but there are options.
we have
We have things in the
optimism
future.
that we will be getting.
We have things in the future that are gonna help this situation out without raising taxes. A lot of valuations coming
We'll be
online.
getting more
so,
taxes from utilities.
Yeah,
I think this is all we can do this year. Are you happy with that? Then we can tell them that we did lower
go to
that
what
part of it. General part of it. It did go up 200,000. And that's why we gotta have these public forums so we can explain why we have to raise some of those. So who pays in the general basic then?
Everybody.
We have
basically. Okay.
So is there any information you want me to get for you before the forms?
Well, I think Julie's getting together her numbers
Mm-hmm.
and suppose if we have the information, what our costs have been over the years on this, how it's took a toll on our balance. It's a cost of doing business when we have no building. And what our amended cost was just recently. Plus, we have to figure in, we have to fix that over there. AJ, when I was driving yesterday, called me, wanted to get some information to start promoting these things.
Well, he called me.
So I told him, just part that we just approved, which is part, we still gotta address the east entrance. We still have to do the road,
Yeah, I told him that.
so it's coming.
Because he asked me, is this last one you've got here, this, what is it, 300,000 that we just okay to spend? I said, no, I don't think that includes the east entrance to the road. I said, we're not done. And we've already spent, the last 5 years, what, probably $1.5 million on this?
But in this budgeting process, we decided to kick the can down the road until we have more valuation by bonding.
Yeah,
So then the turbines can pay for it, the utility line can pay for it. Take the burden off the taxpayers.
and at some point, it'll be good for, some years.
Better.
Less maintenance. But,
Oh, yeah, that part of it.
once we got all this work done in the rock, I mean, in theory, it should be good for 20, 30 years.
As long as you maintain it, you're still gonna have to put
Yeah.
a certain amount in it to keep it maintained.
You've got to address the moisture intrusion as quickly as possible.
You're gonna have to have a yearly inspection on it or something, which costs money, address any issues that come up. What do we figure we've got into it now?
Probably 1.2 million.
And then the repairs,
Yeah.
1.2 plus another 300 coming, right? And then,
Plus another, probably at least that much more for that, and
yeah, another 300 for that, and what the roof's
we're
got
gonna
to
be
be.
pushing, it's gonna be at least 2 million, but you figure it's been 20 years since we've done the roof, right?
We did the roof on the rebuilding.
And that was after, just after the millennium.
Yeah, that was in the early 2000s, wasn't it? In the addition?
If I remember right, it was after 2000. We just got done with the clocks and all those. So if you figure, divided by 20 years, $100,000 a year is what it's cost to maintain such, but we still have to put a roof on it.
Yeah.
Unless we put a steel roof on the glass wall. Steel shingles.
They make steel shingles, they make steel shingles.
My dad's
Like anything.
steel shingles on my dad's house that looks like shingles.
Yeah.
Shingles. They call them 50-year shingles, but.
Now, that's gonna cost more upfront.
Right.
But in the long run, you're gonna save labor and material doing it all over again. What's on this thing now? Is it asphalt?
That's what. As long as it's done right.
Yeah.
You gotta have those, what was the name of it, at the church in Tom's, there as well.
Yeah. So we got steel shingles on our church. Well, they're not even shingles, they're 4x8 sheets or whatever.
Well, I don't wanna cut this short. Are we okay with the number that we came up with?
Yes.
Gonna have to be divided. So, let's call this one final.
The one you printed last,
2020 final. The only other thing that came up at the last minute, the paramedics services are talking about changing their backup pay. Right now, it sounds like they pay $2 an hour to be on backup. It's kind of ridiculous. That's why they're losing. One of the reasons they're losing people is because it's not worth being on backup. So they're looking at trying to add 20,000 to our bill and 20,000 to their bill to have
Excuse me.
All right,
Yeah, I'll make it. Okay, so I need to adjust everything for that 4.3 and reducing the rural supplemental and.
Yeah.
yeah, the basics just gonna stay the same. That's what you have proposed here.
Unless you wanna cut the nurses.
Most of the increase is in the nursing end of it.
We're up to about 700,000 that we're giving the nurses this year. For 20,
And every other year it's been what?
about 100,000. It averages 100,000.
Average is 100,000, and this year 700.
Oh, weren't they at like 3 something?
We did 345 last year, and then it's 3 something with general supplemental, and then plus we're transferring 281,000 to them. So it's somewhere close to about 700,000.
Or 600?
It's 681,000, which is pretty damn close to 700.
Yeah. And that is because of the not being paid by the MCO, some of it?
Well, that's some of the numbers they're gonna be showing.
Yeah, they're gonna
That's
bring
why
us
she wants to
numbers.
send it to us
And then
ahead of time so we can look at it.
services that are being,
This weather hasn't helped her getting together over there and come up with it.
Anything else?
We may be looking at pass-through on, if we want to do an engineering study on natural gas. We have some grant money left from the state. We did that engineering study in 2 counties to get to St. Anscombe, from Joyce to Manley to St. Anscombe. And we may be doing, there is money available. So if we want to do a study like from over by Buffalo to Rembrandt, Thompson, Rembrandt, or from southwest, that way where the tap would be. I know there's what, a pumping station out there by Buffalo, or is it?
no, the pipeline runs, I don't,
It runs northwest to southeast, or, you
yeah,
know, on the other side of Buffalo, or
it's just south of Buffalo.
south of Buffalo?
It goes across like Danny Minder's just ground down there.
Where does it go from Buffalo, east or west? Is it east of Buffalo or west of Buffalo?
It's west of Buffalo.
Okay.
It goes on the west side of Buffalo.
So we have to look at, you know, they have to look and see if it'd be better down this way and then up, or better that way and across.
The distance to get to Thompson was too far because of the angle going down. Before it was worth at one point anyway.
The original study showed that if you're gonna do this, you have to have a major user on it to make it work.
Which would be Rembrandt.
We don't know. They use a lot of gas right now, but
Yeah.
at current use, is it enough?
I mean, we're gonna need a lot more capacity if they're gonna went forward with
You know,
their,
you look at a small town like Thompson, even if you offer natural gas, how many people are gonna switch?
I didn't,
Yeah.
my house is LPs, but I like my gas mans.
Yeah, as you said,
These
you're,
more
you're
local.
you're cutting some of the local businesses out.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna do anything over there unless we do have one prospective man that is possible. So, beware of that we may have to amend our budget for in and out type of thing. It wouldn't, I don't think it'd be any cost to us unless there was some lawyer fees involved or something.
Is that goofy thing still on?
Mhm.
Just wanted make you aware of it.
I can't hardly see the 3+ you'd like for
I
some.
can see it,
It seems like I could just kind of
certain angles.
a little bit see it, but
So, did you get the agenda for Monday then? For us, when we're done?
Got all the public forums for the legislators up, and
I think I got that one. It's Monday at 1. Isn't it? Is it Monday at 1?
Try to keep up here, Bill. I
When
had to
did
sit
we make
down.
this one 9:30? This one was gonna be at 1.
Well, last Tuesday we said it.
But I thought we were gonna meet
Wednesday.
Wednesday at 1.
And then I don't remember. I know I didn't know if I could make 9 o'clock, because I had, ended up being at 8 o'clock in Mason City. They pulled that fast one on me. We got, Melissa's the actual secretary now. Stan sent out the agenda, and it's like, he's not the chair, he's not the vice chair, he's not the secretary, but he sent out the agenda. So you wonder why there's such disarray. And he set the time instead of 7:38. It's like, why?
Was your Legion stand, you mean?
Huh? Yeah. Oh, I gotta go.
Are we adjourned?